Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. My name is Satya Rhodes Conway. I'm the mayor of Madison, Wisconsin. I want to thank Chief Patterson, Council President Madison, and Reverend Allen for being here as well. And I want to start first by offering my very sincere condolences to the family of Corey Ruiz. My immediate concern right now is for the well-being of our community. I want to make sure that everyone who needs it has access to resources and mental health support. Those resources exist and are available to you if you need them. If you need urgent support, please use the 988 Lifeline. You can call or text 988 to be connected with that support. You could also text HOME, that's HOME, or HOLA, HOALA, to 741-741. That's 741-741 to reach a live volunteer crisis counselor 24/7. Dane County also has a crisis hotline. That number is 608-280-2609. Again, that's 608-280-2609. There are also more resources available on the public health website, which is publichealthmdc.com/resources. This is an incredibly difficult moment for the Madison community, and I understand the very strong emotions that people are feeling. I am feeling them too. As a city, as a community, as a society, we have to do better. I want to be clear. It does not matter who you are or what your past is. You should not lose your life as a result of an encounter with law enforcement. That should not happen. Like many in our community today, I have a lot of questions and concerns about what happened yesterday. What decisions were made by officers that led to escalation instead of de-escalation? What different choices could have been made to prevent harm? What needs to change in police policy or training or anything else to prevent more deaths? This officer-involved shooting must be rigorously investigated, and it will be. The process has already started with the Department of Criminal Investigation, but that's just the first step. The DA will play a role, as will the Independent Monitor and the Police Civilian Oversight Board. Our community deserves full transparency and accountability. It's really understandable that people want answers right now. I want them too. But the honest truth is that good investigations take time. We have to let the investigation play out, but believe me, anything that we can do on the city side to hasten that, we will. And beyond the formal investigation, I think there are questions that have to be answered. In the days and weeks ahead, the Common Council and myself, as representatives of the community, will do our best to get and share information and to create spaces to have the conversations that need to be had. I'm going to let Council President Madison share more details about community listening sessions, but I also want to mention that there is a vigil tonight that's planned that I encourage people to attend if they feel so motivated. I also want to emphasize that the safety of the community is paramount right now. People have every right to peacefully protest, and I urge people to do that safely and to take care of themselves in the process. The city is working to help facilitate this. I'll close with this. Dr. Anthony of the Urban League said earlier today in their statement that public safety must truly include everyone. I quote that statement, "A just community must protect residents from violence and also protect them from unnecessary harm by the very systems entrusted with their safety. Public safety cannot be measured only by enforcement. It must also be measured by dignity, restraint, accountability, fairness, and the preservation of life," end quote. Madison should be a just community. We can be a just community. But we have work to do to truly be a just community. I'll hand the podium to Council President Sabrina Madison.
All righty. First of all, can you hear me okay? Thank you. All right, so I guess for me, I start with Corey could be a Charles. Charles can be a Clyde who's stepping into the room. Clyde can be a Michael. Michael can be a Tony. Tony can be a LaShawn. A LaShawn can be a James. James can be a Randall. Randall can be a Tyrell. I can go on and on and on and on. But Corey could have been my brother because my brother is homeless. He often rides a bike when we meet up by the beacon, and Corey could have been a Charles. But speaking of Corey specifically, Corey has a family who loves him. I believe Corey has a child. Corey is a human being. Corey came from a mother who gave birth to him. Most of us likely came into the world through a traditional birth, likely. And so you imagine when you take this child home, you have all of these hopes for your kid. You hope they grow up to be astronauts, presidents, entrepreneurs, small business owners, community leaders. You have all of these hopes for your kids. And as your kids mature, you begin to, especially if you're raising a black child and a black male child, you have to have very difficult conversations. My son is 31, and I've had those difficult conversations, not just with my own son, but with my 3 brothers. So the conversations normally look like, don't go out by yourself alone. If the police stop you, you teach your kid all of these mechanics of what you need to do if you're stopped by the police. Make sure the police can see your hands. Pull over right away. Turn on all of your lights. All of these mechanics of just moving about the world, you sort of have to give this young black child all of these restrictions on how they move about the world versus this freedom that exists for white young men when you're raising white boys, for example. Most of us have friends who are white folks with little white kids, and I've never heard any of my female white friends with children giving their children the same directions that I have had to give my son. So I just want to go back to Corey as a person. He's a human being. He has a family. He has parents who loved him, who brought him home, who cared for him, who poured into him. And when you're raising a young person into adulthood, as they mature into adulthood, you begin to see some of those hopes that you have for them realized. They become parents, they become career people, they become high school graduates, they become college folks, they become union workers, they become all kinds of things. And so for me, first getting the call from, when you're council leadership, you get all the phone calls about emergencies. So, I get the phone call, and your first inclination is to get online and see what is happening. And, I get online to see what is happening, and I see a video of who I will learn later is Corey. And I don't see what's happening altogether. There's some cars in the way, but I can hear the sounds. I can hear the words, taser, and I could just hear the shots. And it's the shots that don't escape you. And then I finally see videos with a bit more detail. And I'm telling you, I'm like, my first thought is when the officer is walking away, why isn't he walking away in cuffs? That's my first thought. Because I'm looking at a Corey who can be a Charles, who can be a Clyde, who can be my son, and I'm angry. There's like no way around it. And while we know that there will be investigations and all of that, the thing for me is that his death is final. And for us who have lost loved ones and have grieved loved ones, or for some of us who may be taking a longer path to the passing of a loved one, it is a very difficult thing to experience. So my thoughts are with his family that nurtured him and poured into him, because they no longer have him, because his death is final. There's no coming back from death. So that's where my thoughts have been. I, of course, want an investigation that's comprehensive, that's complete, that's not bullshitting. You know, you want all of those things. And I don't want something that's like a 6-month process or a 9-month process. And we often hear that, you know, it can be a while. So I want to encourage everybody, not just, I guess I want to encourage everybody that we should all be encouraging and pushing everyone part of the process. Push the Department of Criminal Investigations to investigate comprehensively and fairly and release information as soon as possible. We should be pushing and advocating for our district attorney to charge folks. When the community is reviewing the information, they may feel through that information we have received, the person should be charged. So I want you to engage your district attorney, our district attorney as well. I want you to engage the Office of the Independent Monitor, because like DCI, they are, they an investigative body as well. Engage them. I want you to engage the Police and Fire Commission. I spent about an hour on the phone earlier today from an attorney out of the Milwaukee area and a local community member, and she serves for her local body's Police and Fire Commission. I want you to file complaints with them. I want you to file complaints with our local Madison Police Department. I want you to take every route to justice for Corey. I don't think you should limit yourselves. I want you to continue to reach out to the Common Council. I want you to continue to reach out to the county. I want you to reach out to your state legislators, because if Corey, who can be Charles, who can be Clyde, who can be Jerome, who can be this person in front of me, then if the protocol to go that quickly to shoot this gentleman in the head 3 times, and that is an option, I don't know how that is an option. My brain has not been able to put that together as an option, because I didn't see anything that warranted it. So if we are told later that that was an option because of what preceded the shooting, then we need to be advocating at every level of government for these kinds of directives to change. I don't think we should end it here, I guess. I think it's at every level of government. It is every body, every elected folks at every level of government that has a responsibility. We have folks who are running for office right now. Are the folks listening talking to those folks? How are they going to respond to this legislatively outside of their vote on August 11th or in November? How does this impact what they're doing right now? How does this impact the policies that they've already drafted and have been running on? Do they respond with different policy legislation? Do they just get to say, we just want an investigation? Well, if they're elected, they have a responsibility to the voters to update legislation around our police and across the state. So the other thing I want to say is I've spent a considerable amount of years giving back into the community and making myself available in tons of spaces. And I'm mostly private, because mental health is not something that any of us should take lightly. And I want to implore, especially other alders, to use services available to us. I want to implore community members to access resources. My assumption is that Pastor Allen will share some of that. But the Behavioral Health Center from Dane County is a really great resource and a really great confidential resource. I've made a ton of referrals and have had positive successes with them over the years. The other thing I want to say about the listening session, we would have held that tonight, but overnight or at some point between last night and this morning, I learned that there's a vigil for Corey today at 5 o'clock, so that listening session will not happen tonight. I expect to have an update hopefully by Monday morning because, when you're reserving city spaces, there's some logistics that you need to work out first. So I expect to be able to give an update by Monday morning. But again, I just want to end by saying that, just as a reminder that Corey has a family. The family poured into him, and Corey's family won't get to see his family's hopes and dreams for him. Like the things that we're all sitting here with, who likely for those of us who have still at least a one living parent, my mother still has hopes and dreams for me, So his family doesn't get to see those things realized for him. And so I've had, 24 hours maybe to process it. But I guess I just want to say that is not this. The only thing I can say is that's not the option that we want available for us, if that makes sense. The option should be off the table. And if this option was, I don't believe it was an appropriate option to take. And my hope is that the investigation shows that it was not maybe will, maybe it won't. But whatever the outcome is, I think all of us should be advocating for that option to be taken off the table and for training to be improved. And maybe we need to be changing our standards of what it looks like to know that you're fit to be in our community, serving our community, because too often we have a Corey. And too often we have a Corey that does not get to sort of, his parents don't get to see everything that they had for him realized. So that's all I have. And Chief Patterson.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I know we have new folks in the room. I want to just introduce myself quick, but first, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, President Madison, for your comments. My name is John Patterson. I'm the Chief of Police of the Madison Police Department. I moved here in 1994. I've been a member of this community since then, and I've served our community for about a year now as your police chief, but I've served as a member of the department since 1998. I want to begin by speaking plainly. Yesterday, a young member of our community died after an encounter with one of our officers. He was in his 30s, and I know he had a family who cared for him, and I know he had a community who cared for him. His family is grieving today, and our entire community, I believe, is grieving alongside them. I don't want to rush past that fact to share with you what will come next. I want to take time to outline the process for all of you when a death occurs in any community in Wisconsin that involves police. This is an open and active homicide investigation right now. In accordance with state statute, long-standing practice, the Madison Police Department has called for a thorough and independent criminal investigation into yesterday's shooting. So at the request of us at the MPD, the Wisconsin Department of Justice Division of Criminal Investigation, or has been called DCI by me and others in the past, they will lead this homicide investigation. As you know, DCI is a statewide agency. They have experience and expertise in these types of situations. That involve police and police shootings. So they are fully in charge of this investigation. DCI is fully in charge of this investigation. During these investigations, their agents quickly respond to the scene. They process it for evidence. They thoroughly document the scene. They analyze video that they can find, canvas for video. They interview witnesses. They create their own documents. DCI will also release the name of the officer who fired his firearm at some point in their investigation, and I sincerely hope that is soon. Once all of the facts and information have been gathered, DCI will then present it to the District Attorney's Office for that review and decision. So this process exists precisely so that no department in Wisconsin investigates itself and its own actions involving its community members. I'm not going to stand here today and render a verdict or an opinion about what the investigation will find, because I believe that will jeopardize what we all want, which is independence, an independent review. What I can promise you is that this department will cooperate fully with DCI, and we will not hide from any aspect of this investigation. So I've been thinking a lot today about a former chief who led this department for 21 years, David Cooper. So long before community policing was a phrase that people seem to use casually now, he built this department upon that conviction. He built it upon something he would plainly say, that you cannot do the job unless you have the support of your community. Years after he left office, he wrote something that I think this department has to sit with very honestly right now. He said that the use of physical force by police is a sacred and public trust. He also said that more than the force of department uses, the less trust and support it has from the people it serves. The more force we use, the less trust we have. That is the tension that we are living through right now in this city, and I can physically feel it. I also want to name something directly because I know the city has not forgotten about it and will not be silent about it. And I referenced it somewhat yesterday, but this shooting happened a block and a half from where Tony Robinson was shot and killed by a Madison police officer in 2015. It happened near the same corner where Paul Heenan was shot and killed by a police officer in Madison in 2012. So 3 fatal encounters with your police department within roughly 14 years on the same handful of blocks. I'm not going to stand here and draw a legal conclusion about any of the 3, but I'm saying it because I think we all have to recognize it. We have to recognize the trauma that this community has gone through, is experiencing now again, and pretending that this is the first time would ask this community to forget trauma and forget losses endured, and I will not do that. Trust in this department is not something any of us can assume. It is by far our greatest commodity. It must be earned continuously, and I think it can be lost in a single afternoon. The thinness of trust in the city right now did not start.
No, we can shut this down. You can stop talking because we don't want to hear anything you've been saying. You're going to say the same thing you all say every time a black body gets shot down in this city. This is a corrupt city. That's right. Have no fear. The anti-Zionist is here. You understand me? You won't be able to talk today because I'm going to keep talking because I was born to talk my talk and walk my walk too. I told these young people back here on our way here that we have the power. Not that badge, not that weapon. We have the power. The city of Madison is corrupt. From the DA to the what's the name of this? The Department of Independent Monitoring. We don't want any of that talk. You've given us this speech with "you'll deliver justice." Oh, we've seen the cameras. We've seen. It was a knife in this young man's hand. We don't want to hear that today. We didn't want to hear it when they put their neck on George Floyd's neck. We don't, their foot on George Floyd's neck, and we don't want to hear it today. What do you have to say about that? No. Oh, you don't get to talk, I said.
Right.
Go ahead.
Enough is enough.
I'll step aside. And
That's right. Give me this microphone then. Excuse me. That's right. My name is Carlos Dixon. I represent APTAP. All power to all people. Zero power to Zionists. Zero power to capitalists. Zero power to colonialism. What you are doing right now in this city is continuing the disgusting nature of colonialism, the disgusting nature of imperialism. Look up the definition of imperialism. It's all within the policies, which means when these police officers come down on the street and they decide that they want to take the life of another brown body, there is no oversight for that. That's imperialism, ladies and gentlemen. This man signed up to be an enforcer of imperialism. Is there anybody else want to say anything? It doesn't matter what, okay, the people want to talk. Come up here, the people want to talk. The people want to talk. Come up here, this is our press conference. And I put my lips all over this microphone. Power to the people, no power to Zionists. That's right. Anybody got anything they want to say? Let us know. You got some questions y'all want to ask? Ask us some questions. We're taking questions. Anybody. I didn't think so. Turn up your Zionist noses, because your entire communications and media department is all about Zionism and colonialism. We will not stand. I am a part of the class that has been oppressed and struggled my entire life. My grandmother struggled. My mother struggled. Their grandmother struggled. Those people struggled. We go back far enough and we can see that there was a white European that colonized us, that stole land, that committed genocide right here on America. And you guys want to host your bourgeoisie revolution. You guys want to run your mouths about how disgusting socialism is. You haven't seen socialism, okay? I am a revolutionary intercommunalist, okay? I believe that there is no separation of the struggle. You see my hand right here? This is how this is fragmentation. All of these struggles, Palestine, Congo, America, Sudan, Venezuela. But when you put that fist together, you get the power of intercommunalism. So I'm on Donald Trump's side, okay? I don't like communism because you guys have rebranded communism. You guys have took socialism and the fight for liberation and turned it into something you can profit for. Just like the nonprofit organizations inside of this city. I've seen the paperwork. I've followed the paper trail. I have smelled the Zionism all throughout your city. It is time for you guys to wrap it up. It's time to go. You don't have no questions. Let's go. It won't be no meeting today. You go for it.
I think it's important that we are all here for a conversation. And I would like to hear what the police chief has to finish saying. And I want you to also be a part of that conversation, because this is an opportunity for us to have a conversation.
So what you're doing is you coddling up to imperialism, brother? There will be no coddling to imperialism. If you don't have a question about what kind of charges are going to be brought by so you are coddling to imperialism. I don't stand for that. I'm fundamentally rejected, brother. You can get on. If you got some questions about what's going to happen to these pigs that killed that young man because he appeared to be homeless, then let us know. Will there be just so? That sounds like a song. There will be no investigation.
The police have asked DCI to do is a homicide investigation.
So
One second, because I don't do the yelling over black men.
I don't care. I don't do that. They invited you to this room, young man. They didn't invite me. I don't care. So it doesn't matter. You don't have a question. You have an opinion that coddles to capitalism. Your opinion coddles to imperialism. Hey, that's coddling. Nope. For too long, we are having a conversation. Matter of fact, you know what? We're not having no conversation.
And I'm giving him the answer. He said, what is the charges being brought up against the officer?
Okay.
They're asked for it to be a homicide investigation.
And that's why we all are here.
Right.
Yes.
So we got to have a
But
conversation.
but we
We don't have to
angry if we want to.
monopolize to get our points
This
across.
microphone ain't even on. Ain't that? No, I don't get to respond back to him, brother. I know the response. You are out your mind if you think you're going to hypnotize me into believing that this young man is going to deliver anything other than what We have already been through. There is no difference. This is the clown show. This is a puppet show. Stop it. That young man there and all of these officers with these badges are puppets. The media are puppets. That's right. Y'all turn your cameras off. I know you did. Because you better do it, because I said I'm an anti-Zionist. I'm anti-imperialism. What's your question? Can he talk?
Investigating this
Thank
as
you,
a
sir.
homicide. I like that answer.
What's your
Now
question?
let him finish so that we can actually hear the
And now
information.
you're yelling at a black woman, continuing to
You don't know
discuss
us.
the,
You
I
don't
don't
know what's
care.
going on.
He's raising his
Either I can
voice.
get you shoot
You're
up
telling
right
him
here,
something,
or
and he
you-
should listen, because you
No,
are
no,
the,
no, no,
you
no,
are
no,
the
no, no,
backbone.
Stand up.
Do what you need to do.
Stand up. What
That's
you're
right.
not gonna do
They're not gonna do.
is tell
Stand
the
back.
sister
I'm not, I
what
will
she
not.
needs to do in front of me.
What I'm not gonna do. What I'm not gonna do is hey. No, you don't get to walk up on me, brother. You don't get. It don't matter. You don't get to. You don't get. I ain't no shaking no motherfucking hands with no imperialists. I don't do that.
Okay, what's
You
your
get.
name?
You're in my space
your
right
name?
now too.
No, this is all
Now
of
I'm
our
gonna
space.
back up right here,
This
and if
is
you
all
keep
of our
walking up
space.
on me, I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Let me put
I'm
my
not gonna
things
do that
down.
with you.
That's aggression.
Calm down.
That's a sign of I'm backing up. This man approached me. I don't care if your hand was out, brother. Don't do that. I'm from the ghetto. I'm from gang culture. We don't do that, brother. Don't walk up on me like
from the
that.
ghetto,
I
too.
have
I'm from the ninth ward of Houston,
PTSD.
Texas.
Okay,
But
okay,
this
good
is
for
what
you.
they want.
And that's
This
the
is what they
problem right
want. They
there.
want
Right,
these
so
two
tell him
brothers
to
be
calm
at it,
down.
but the enemy is
Right,
them.
tell him to
No,
calm down.
This ain't your
no
show,
more
brother.
calming down. We're tired.
I'm tired too.
Tired.
Hey, brother.
Okay,
So he gonna have a conversation or he gonna have to calm down?
This is all I'll say. Brother,
It is.
it ain't no,
He
that's
talking
right.
to me,
No,
not
that's right. Go
asking
get
you.
y'all some rest. And these are the ladies and gentlemen that will rest good tonight. They're going to sleep good
Nobody
tonight.
talking for us.
My
We don't need
anti-imperialist.
nobody talking for us. We don't.
That's right.
So, and
Get
that's
them
what happened.
gone.
I got you, sis.
Get them
Why
gone.
don't I keep
What's the
kissing
schedule
somebody's
here?
ass?
How long is
I
this
grew up
supposed
in
to
this
go
community.
through?
I went to
Look at
Dartmouth,
that.
Black Hawk East, Madison College, and UW Madison. We don't need nobody that's not from here speaking for us. So he's a visitor, and somebody's gonna let him know that. I don't care what they
We
got
want
going
those
on and how
police
they got it
officers
going
arrested
on.
tonight,
This is
sir.
a new show, and we ain't running it like that. Let the police chief finish saying what he gotta say, so we can get our information that we need, and we can run with it. to
So
the
here's the thing.
But this
So
right
here's the
here
thing. Look,
is
this
too
not
much.
your show. Here's the thing. We all witnessed on social media last
did.
night a human being take the life of another human
We
being.
were all there, and you
Stop
were
it,
not there.
stop
So
it,
you gotta
stop it,
flying in
stop it,
and
stop it,
impeding our
Clyde.
space.
Stop it, Clyde.
Impeding our space.
Hey, this Negro only bar, Clyde.
Right.
Get up out of here, Clyde.
Right.
Ain't no sir, I don't coddle or
But you
capitulate
don't talk
to
to
your
women like
hierarchy.
that. And I don't know what type of black man you used to being around, but you're not gonna disrespect women like that,
That's
my
right.
brother.
That's what you gonna do.
'Cause
is
I'm
get
like
up.
that.
No, you're not.
I'm like
Because
that.
if you was, you'd have did
I'm
something.
like that.
Do it. Do something.
You talking
Show
about?
me how like that you are then. Show me if you like that, young man. I ain't here for that. I ain't here for that. I'm not here for a good time.
Right. Right.
I don't.
So y'all conversation. He needs to calm down. We having a conversation up here.
I
This is
understand.
mad. I don't know if you from Milwaukee or Chicago. We don't do that here. Welcome to Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey, thanks for welcoming me into Madison,
Right.
Wisconsin.
Have a seat.
I feel great. I feel great. I feel good. I'm the happiest I've been in years right here in Madison, Wisconsin. Oh, no, ain't no meeting y'all outside. Hey, no, ain't no. They honestly, they don't get time to talk today. Will there be charges brought up against these police officers? Like I was trying to say, we witnessed a murder. Now, if it had been my black ass murdered somebody in the street, y'all will have me in jail right now. There should be accountability. Officer Patterson, that's all I'm saying. So then we got to disrupt. We got to disrupt because y'all gonna capitulate. We know the script. You are, I'm sorry, you are part of the professional managerial class. And you seem to be trying to tell me to not do what I'm doing right here. There will be no need.
Because I'll have to put my body on the line if these police come closer to me.
Oh, no.
So what I'm
No,
saying
you
to you
won't.
is out of,
No, you better
if you
not.
love me,
You
if
don't,
you
you better
love
not.
me
That's,
as a black woman,
you are not going.
I will walk out of this
Excuse me.
space.
I feel like you're trying to make me feel guilty for standing up for injustice. I'm sorry. I don't. I think it's not cool, and I'm going to continue. Hey, I hear you. No, ain't no stand. I just told you the logics of it. A human being killed another human being. We need those young people in jail. We need those pigs in jail tonight. We need those pigs in jail. Are those pigs going to jail tonight? Where they at? No, I am listening, and that's what you're not understanding. You look, man. Look, brother. Please leave me alone. I'm begging. We ain't gonna talk later. I'm never gonna talk to you. I don't coddle or negotiate with anybody that stands along the side of fascism.
But let him finish talking. We are men. Men are supposed to be able to have conversations.
Human beings are.
You don't get to monopolize.
Human beings. I'm not monopolizing.
Here.
This ain't no monopolizing. This is a movement. This is not my movement. They can strike me down today, and these people right here gonna continue. This ain't my movement. You out your mind. That young man out his mind. That young man out his mind.
Every fucking voice matters. I know. And every black person in the streets matters. Enough is fucking enough. He can. Damn it, he can. He's a black man. What the fuck you talking about? And you acting like a fucking coon.
There's black man right there. There's black man right here. You're not the only black one in this room.
Well, guess what? He a black man that ain't gonna kiss this white man ass.
Ain't nobody kissing your ass up in here.
Yes, you are.
Ain't nobody kissing your ass up in
Yes,
here.
you are.
We ain't
You want
girl,
to be
please.
commune with the community.
And brother, you swell up with this young lady, I'll beat your ass. You swell up with this young lady in here, I'll beat your ass in front of the police. You swell up with this young lady, in front of the police.
You gonna do what they want you to do. Idiot. Get you some class.
No, I ain't even got where I'm supposed to win. I want some answers. I want some answers. The people want some answers.
Can't get an answer if you say they can't talk, brother.
They not okay. We want answers to this question right here. We here in Madison, Wisconsin, with all these good people in front of these police, these imperialist pigs here. Hey, I'm not calling you a pig, but you got on that badge, so I got to put you there. And my question is, and what charges are going to be brought to the racist police? To the racist police that killed that young man, Mr. Ruiz, yesterday. So I'm gonna get to the side. I'm gonna get to the side so Officer Patterson can talk right now because there's another.
Can media leave the room, please? Out of respect.
There are rules to communication, and we need to follow them. We are smarter than that. We are smarter than that. We can all sit in here and have a conversation. Let's have it.
Hey, brother, I'm telling you right now.
Let us get the notes we need.
I don't ever want you to be, and I'm talking to my bro right here. If I find you in my space or aggressing towards me in any future after I walk out this door,
Ask
it's a
about
different
me.
story. Hey, we don't let this young man go, Mr. Patterson. We would like to hear what are the repercussions from the police. What's going to happen to them racist police officers?
Y'all know what to do.
I'll give you that respect.
Y'all got 'em.
We gotta have a conversation.
Motherfucking ass.
Since we gotta have a conversation, I'll give
I'm
you
like
that.
that. I'm like that, baby. I'm like that. This police chief don't just know me from walking around.
Lord.
He knows me. We can easily have a conversation. So, Mr. Chief Patterson, please continue on with what you gotta say, and please respond to any questions that is asked when you open the floor. I will highly appreciate that, and I'm pretty sure everybody else in this room would too. We're gonna stay here, even with them, even with him, we're gonna let him
that
talk.
man
All right,
talk.
let me talk.
All right?
No, ain't none of that.
Thank
I
you.
don't watch myself with none of these imperialist bootlickers. You can eat shit.
Okay. I appreciate you being here. I know this is tough, and before you got here,
There's no speakers in here.
I'll talk.
I've said 1,000 times during my life from therapists and motherfuckers with that.
Okay.
Come on, get to it, brother. Please.
All right. The mic, this is not
It's not for
amplified.
the room.
Yeah, I got to be able to talk. I mean, clearly, and I talked about it before you came in here, but clearly, trust is not.
To repeat that so that the people that were not here that heard what you said can at least hear what you
hear what you said, please.
You want me to go back to process, Clyde?
Yeah, what
Okay.
the process is and what you guys have recommended.
All right.
to DCI.
What I said before you got here is that this is any time in the state, there's a process that involves when a death occurs involving a police officer. This is an open and active homicide investigation. Okay? So in accordance,
Why aren't the
in
perpetrators
accordance,
in jail?
I will,
Say you gonna let him finish? Let him finish.
my friend, I will take every question you have of me. Okay? I just want to get through this because I think
Whose master do y'all think y'all
You gotta relax, gang.
Y'all don't tell
You
no
gotta
stories.
relax, gang.
I'm saying you. That's what you said, bro.
Yeah, you gotta relax.
All right, Clyde, please. Clyde, I'm trying here, man. Please,
This ain't organizing, it's
Clyde.
mobilizing. Y'all,
Clyde, please.
I'm trying to let y'all go. Y'all keep,
I'm not amplified over here. I'm trying, you guys. Please,
y'all doing it. Y'all making it a disruption.
please,
All you need to
please.
do is sit back and let the revolution take place in front of your eyes. The revolution will not be televised, brother. It will be live. Look at this. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. Don't care about no goddamn disruption. The police disrupted that young man's life last night.
We said the same thing, but listen, brother.
All right. Here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to just.
Your neoliberal nonprofit organization out, and I don't want to hear that.
Let's.
Sit your ass down in your seat, man. Sit your monkey ass down in your seat, boy.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, you can go outside. You can go outside. You can go outside.
Okay, I'm going to repeat myself, but in accordance with state statute and longstanding practice here, we've called for a thorough and independent criminal investigation into yesterday's shooting. So at the request of us, the Department of Justice Division of Criminal Investigation, they're often called DCI, they're going to lead this homicide investigation. We are not leading it. So they're a statewide agency, if you're not familiar with them. They have significant experience and expertise in leading investigations, related to police-involved shootings. They're fully in charge of this investigation. They're not taking guidance from us. They're not taking direction from us. They are in charge. And during these investigations, they respond to the scene, they process for evidence, they interview witnesses, they canvass for video, they do everything needed to have a thorough investigation, including creating their own reports and documents. So they will release the name of the officer who fired the shots from his firearm at some point in this investigation, and I hope it is very soon.
You already have his name, though.
So once all available facts and information are gathered, they then take their investigation to the district attorneys for review as a criminal investigation, as a potential criminal investigation there. This process exists precisely so that no department in this state investigates itself or its own actions. I'm not going to stand there and offer a verdict or an opinion, because if I do that as your chief of police, that's going to jeopardize the independence of the investigation that we all want.
So where's this office, where's this paperwork being pushed to now?
The Department of Criminal Investigation is leading it right now. They're actively investigating this.
Where are they in Madison? Are they in Madison?
They're a state agency, I am telling you with a straight face, Department of Criminal Investigations. We are going to cooperate fully with DCI, and we will not hide from any aspect of this investigation. I assure all of you that. I'll just finish, let me finish my thoughts.
Yeah, so she on my list, Officer Patterson.
Okay.
I know this young, her job needs to be gone. They do nothing about police killing people.
Let me finish, okay? So I have, like I said, I've been thinking a lot today about a chief that was our chief for 21 years. His name was David Cooper. He used community policing as a casual, or he used community policing before it was a casual phrase that I think a lot of people use. And he stressed that we can't do this job without all of you. We need our community, everyone in our community, to do our job effectively. And he also said that force used by us, it's a sacred and public trust. And the more force that we use, the less trust that we're going to have in our community. I think that means.
The more you go off with this professional managerial class skill.
Please let me finish.
You know who I am. I am the people. All power to all people. There is no individual.
So
this is about the intercommunal.
Here's what I'm going to tell you.
Communal struggle.
So we can all, let me finish.
He's not saying anything that we haven't
Get
heard.
there. Let him get there. You let him get there. He can get there.
I'm going to de-escalate just because y'all the people. I'm going to listen.
Thank you.
I'm a man.
I appreciate it. I think everyone in this room can feel the thinness of trust in this city right now, right? I can feel it. It did not start yesterday, and it's not abstract. It's a direct result, I think, of what our community has gone through and we have watched repeat. Same stretch of street more than once. I'm not going to stand at this podium and tell you that this press conference is going to solve anything. I know that it won't. I want to tell you what I'm committed to doing right now, and the first is transparency. We'll release information about this incident as quickly and as completely as possible as the integrity of DCI's investigation allows and the state law requires. This includes sharing information with the Office of Independent Police Monitor as we can within local ordinance and within this state law. We're not going to use an active investigation as a reason to not share. We're going to push for transparency. I'm going to hold the department to that. I'm going to hold myself to that. And the second is action. We're not going to wait for a final report from DCI to begin the work of examining our policies, our training, and response. We're going to do that now. The review has to start now, and it can't wait. Third is accountability. If this investigation finds that policy, training, judgment failed yesterday, I will say it publicly, and we'll fix it. We must allow the independent investigation to occur. So whenever accountability is needed, it must not only apply to the individual officer, it has to apply to the police department as well. If to do otherwise would be a deflection, and I'm not going to do that to this community that's embraced me for a long time. Most of what the public saw yesterday came from that bystander's phone, not from this department. I was asked by some of you about body-worn cameras. As you know, we don't have a broad deployment of body-worn cameras in Madison, and I understand that this fact does create another challenge to repairing trust in our community.
Did you guys just get Mustangs?
We don't have body-worn cameras.
90 million? 98 million?
I think this family deserves real answers, not just a press conference. They deserve a department, and the community deserves a police department worthy of the trust needed to serve the community. I intend to spend whatever time I have in this job continuing that work, not because it's easy, but again, I can't do this job, and our police department can't do their job without all of you. I intended to repeat some of what I said yesterday because we do have new faces in this room. So I'd like to take a minute to do that. An officer with the police department, Madison Police Department, yesterday was involved in a shooting on the city's Near East Side in the Marquette neighborhood. Dispatched to a call just before 1 p.m. for a person who was allegedly involved checking parked vehicles. DCI is also investigating other calls from community members which may have also involved this same person, including one where there was a report of a male attempting to enter an occupied home. This likely caused more officers to respond to the area. The officers located the man described. They attempted to contact him. He fled on a bike. He traveled through backyards. They connected with him again at the intersection of Baldwin Street and Williamson Street around 1:30 p.m. I still don't know if he fell off the bike or if he was taken off the bike. That's still being determined by DCI. A struggle obviously ensued with officers in the middle of that intersection. At some point, a knife was pulled out and produced. It was a fixed blade knife. That was the picture that was shared yesterday. This occurred while the physical tussle was occurring as they were attempting to arrest him. A taser was deployed. It was not successful, and I don't know why. DCI is looking into that. I don't know why it was unsuccessful. The officer who sustained injuries from the knife was the same officer that fired the shots.
We have verification of those injuries somehow?
I don't even have those verifications right now. So DCI has that information. I don't have it. I understand there are injuries from the knife is what I'm told. I haven't seen them. I haven't even seen him. I don't know. So a second officer was injured, but not, we don't think by the knife. I don't know how that person, how that officer was injured. I don't know. Officers tried life-saving measures. He was taken to an area hospital, and we all know that he tragically passed away. And I know this is hard in this moment, but I honestly and sincerely express my sympathy to his family, his entire family.
Searched him, and then did a few tests. Don't say that they
So-
did life intervention,
So
life-saving intervention.
the officer who fired his weapon and all of the others are on administrative leave while this plays out with DCI. It's standard practice. It's standard practice. They are off the street, they're on admin leave, and while this investigation takes place, that does several things, including and most importantly, allows for flexibility to get interviews with DCI done as quickly as possible.
Immediately? Is that standard? Immediately.
So this situation was clearly dangerous, and I'm going to finish, and I'll try to take as many questions as possible. Okay, I promise. It involved a knife. It was clearly dangerous. I am incredibly saddened by this loss of life. Sorry. The Wisconsin, again, DCI is now independently investigating this incident because of our involvement. We're aware of several videos circulating around the incident. I encourage you to the extent you can to know that not all perspectives are had right now. We have not seen them all. I haven't seen them all. There's a narrative, I want to say one thing though, there's a narrative that's been circulating around that I have to address. It was last night through the night suggesting that he was handcuffed before he was shot. I have seen video that I don't believe that was the case, and I don't know if any others have seen it other. I just felt I had to say that because it's been going around by others. I commit to you I will be in frequent contact.
After they shot him and then proceed to do CPR like he was going to do something.
I'm-
With blood on the ground around his head.
I'm going to be in frequent contact with DCI daily. I commit to that. I'm going to push as hard as I can for as much information for them to share with all of us as quickly as possible, as soon as possible, while maintaining the independence of the investigation. I want transparency. I want accountability. I want open communication. But I also want an independent investigation, and I think we all have to remember we can't jeopardize that. I understand that these things all have to happen if we're ever even going to consider being able to regain your trust. Those were the comments I wanted to say. I want to give Pastor Allen from Mount Zion Baptist an opportunity to speak, and then I will stay and I'll answer as many questions as I can. Thank you.
I want to say the emotions that the young man just presented here, that's how all of us are really feeling. We have been challenged by this for many, many years, and it seems as if when we see that happen to someone, a black or brown body, has happened to one of our brothers, as Sabrina was saying, our brothers or someone that we're related to, but that pain is felt by all of us because it has become so consistent. The challenge that we often face with that after all of the marching, after all of the yelling that we do, after all of the protesting, things just go back to the same way. And so I think our intentionality is to ensure that we continue, as Sabrina also stated, the pressure of asking for the right questions, talking to the right people, and making sure things are happening to the benefit of our community. And so we are here today, and first let us honor or recognize that a life was lost. No matter how much we are angry, how much we are upset, no matter what the investigation or the rules or the laws are, somebody lost a father, a brother, a son, an uncle, a life, a grandson, a life was lost. And for me as a pastor, I deal with death and dying and people that endure a loved one passing away. Sometimes it's in the hospital, sometimes it's sudden because of a heart attack. But the challenge now, this family has to watch their loved one die on camera. And I'm challenged by that because even my children, they see this. Our kids are seeing this trauma lived out before their very eyes. Stated the other day, I served in the United States Army for 10.5 years. I didn't see a dead body until I was in Iraq or Afghanistan. And now my kids are constantly seeing this. I'm also challenged by this because I've seen soldiers, 18, 19-year-olds, de-escalate situations without no one dying. So I'm really challenged by that. And wondering, what are our practices? What are we doing to make sure we de-escalating situations? And I understand things happen fast, but what are our intentions to ensure that everyone makes it home safe? It's a dangerous job. It's challenging, but how are we making sure everyone makes it home safe? So we stand with the family. We stand with the community, and we want to be intentional about mental health services. And on every Thursday at Mount Zion Baptist Church, we have free drop-in mental health services from 10 to 2 p.m. So if you know anyone who stands in the need of that, please come out for that. We are calling, as chief and the mayor and the president, Sabrina Madison, stated, we're calling for truth. We're calling for transparency and accountability. Because we want to make sure what's going on is actually happen and be taken care of. And not just, again, working with words, but we want to see actions happen. We don't just want words. We want to see actions happen. And so this moment calls for courage, but it also calls for compassion. And my role as a pastor in the church, and I represent the African American Council of Churches, that we'll be here to have that comfort for the hurting, but we also will seek without fear or favoritism the truth, and also accountability for those who played in part in taking this young man's life. Dr. King suggests true peace is not merely the absence of tension. It's also in the presence of justice. So there's going to be a lot of tension. It's going to be a lot of hurt feelings. It's going to be a lot of people being upset. But how do we come together and as a community and make sure that accountability is being held and people who are hurting are being taken serious in this moment? Thank you.
I have two questions. First question, once DCI is done with their investigation, from my understanding, DCI they don't present like an action that comes from it. They do the investigation, they give you all the information. From my understanding, the police department, it's incumbent on you then to make a decision and the PFC to make a decision on what the disciplinary actions are. Is that the understanding?
So typically, they present to the DA. The DA makes their decision on what's going to occur. And then we do an internal investigation after that decision. So we don't start that prior to, so that we're not disrupting decisions as to, swaying it one way or the other. So once that process with DCI and the DA is done, that is largely going to, steer the initial steps of the internal investigation.
So then the DA can determine to press charges against the officer based on the DCI.
That is solely the DA's decision, yes.
Do your investigation. Second question, is there a precedence that we have seen in the city of Madison that places officers on administrative leave without pay? Because my biggest thing is that taxpayer dollars are going to someone who killed a person in our streets. And so for me, it's like, yes, we can place them on administrative leave, but is there precedence that placing on administrative leave without pay?
Yes.
There's no precedence for that. As you know, we're guided by collective bargaining agreements, by labor law. The precedence is administrative leave with pay. And I know that on a lot of these situations, this issue comes up. It does not sit well with a lot of people. I understand that. That is the process that I have available to me.
And so the only way to suffocate that is to go to the police union, which is bargaining on behalf?
It would take changes in bargaining and changes in I think perhaps labor law, yes. Yes.
So is the police department working with the independent monitor at this point?
I've had contact with the IM, Aramik Glass. We are committed to working with the independent monitor. This is a very challenging situation because we have two bodies that need to conduct independent investigations. One, which we are going to follow because it's guided by state law, which supersedes our ordinances, is the review per state statute of this open homicide investigation. I have to follow that. It's state law. I'm not going to violate state law. And so we will try to find the best team that we can with that law and work as well with the Office of the Independent Monitor. Now, there are things that we may be able to share quickly that are not going to jeopardize the state investigation, and we'll share those as quickly as possible.
Have you currently provided the Office of the Independent Monitor with any of the materials that they have requested so far?
I have received the request. To my knowledge, we have not yet provided anything because, again, like I said, as in part of the independent investigation, large amounts, the majority are going to be created by this independent agency, not by us.
Working with them if you're not
Providing them with materials?
But again, I think, like I said, there's a very challenging circumstance in front of me where there's a state law that guides us on what we do when this occurs. And then, obviously, Madison is unique with an Office of Independent Police Monitor guided by ordinance.
At this point in time, not necessarily.
We're going to work with the IM. We're going to work with our team. We're going to work with the Department of Criminal Investigations, and we'll figure out exactly what we can share and when, as quickly as possible.
City officials have confirmed Mr. Rubins's name. Can you confirm his age and date of birth as well?
So, again, I've seen the exact same information that you're talking about. I again, as your police chief, I'm trying to stay true to the independent investigation team. They will release it, but I believe this is absolutely correct. I am asking for as quick of a release of as much information as humanly possible.
You were talking about the names of the officers, but I was asking about Corey Ruiz.
No, I was talking about Mr. Ruiz as well, so yes.
Question for the mayor. You can confirm his name. Can you confirm his age and date of birth?
Has the officer involved in this been involved in a deadly force situation before?
No.
No, you mentioned the lack of body-worn cameras. Has this researched any conversations around getting those in the department? I'll take this.
Yeah, okay, I'll let the mayor talk.
So as I think most of you know, the chief and the police department have requested in their budget submittal that the city budget include body-worn cameras in the future. This has been a conversation that our community has been having for a very long time. And my executive budget is not public yet, but I can tell you that when it becomes public, it will include a body-worn camera program for the city of Madison.
Have you had conversations with other alders or the police department about that quite yet after this incident?
The chief and I have talked about this multiple times, not since this incident. I have talked with alders, again, over years. It is complicated, but the last time the council voted on it, they chose not to fund a program. That's complicated. But I think I would be confident that there will be support on the council for this. I do want to say that before we implement a full body-worn camera program, it's very important for us to have the correct policies in place. I know there's been some discussion about that in the past and in the public. That is something that I've communicated to the chief, and I hope that the council will be involved in and crafting that policy before we run it. I'm sorry? That's an excellent question. I mean, I think that right now, this is. Can I answer the question? Can I answer the question? Thank you. There's been a lot of conversation about that policy, but this is the first time that we have had. I mean, this will be the first time when we release the budget that the money has been in the budget to actually have a program. So this is the first time that it's been real that we would need a policy. It's a, right, so we have not funded body-worn cameras in the past. So we haven't had them, so we haven't needed to have a policy for them. Now that we will have them, we need to have a policy for them.
How long does it take to create that policy, or how fast could you guys create that policy?
I don't think that will be a long process. Well, the budget takes the budget takes effect in January. So I would be absolutely positive that we could do it by then.
Will it be required that they wear the cameras?
That will be part of the policy conversation.
But she didn't say that. Yes, no.
She's not the one that, she's not the one that should be making the
No,
policy.
I won't be making the policy. No.
There's two things.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to, no, I just wanted to make sure I clarify some things from speaking from the Common Council and the policy. Wait, what? Wait, let me just level set. I am not here to use this as an opportunity to elevate myself.
Chief, will you answer for me? Does DCI provide recommendations? Do they give a conclusion? Do they tell you the direction that this investigation needs to go? Do they give you any type of recommendations? Because every report I have, at the end, you all can read it, says that DCI does not provide any recommendations. They do not do anything of the sort. To hide behind that and present it as something that it is not is unhonest. So let's be honest in this case.
So, thank you. So, but before the chief answers your question, I do want to make sure I clarify from you from the Common Council standpoint. So in 2025, there were several alders who wanted to defund the Office of the Independent Monitor. Somewhere around, I believe their budget, maybe $440,000 or so, something like that. And so alders did not want to see the office decimated, dismantled, ruined, unfunded. So I think alders voted maybe 17-3 to keep the funding that the office has in their budget, because I would imagine we all know that body-worn cameras are quite expensive. So $400,000 would not have made a big dent at all. Also, what happened at that conversation last year is that we had a conversation on the floor with Chief Patterson. You can literally, the other thing I want to say is everything I'm saying is public record. This is all recorded. It is all on video. It's all in email. It's all findable. But in that conversation we had on the floor with Chief Patterson, the Common Council committed to going into the next year because the temporary men's shelter was going to become the permanent men's shelter this year. So now that we have secured permanent shelter for some of the most vulnerable folks in the city, I think the Common Council last year was a bit more, we can do the body-worn cameras now. So I've not heard that any alders don't support body-worn cameras this year at all. And I also want to just make sure I clarify, because I've gotten this question probably 100+ times, like, why don't we have cameras? Well, before we got this far, the community did not want us to have cameras just yet without some things in place. So the community advocated against implementation of body-worn cameras for some years. And then more importantly, more recently, the community took a different turn and supports body-worn cameras. And I think there are cameras everywhere, but just more importantly, where the Common Council is hearing from residents, they're coming in to speak to Common Council. I was not on the council at the time, but in the time that I've been on the council, the support for body-worn cameras has increased, and they'll be funded. I'm confident that they'll be funded.
Continue to sponsor amendments that limit the independence
So
of
yeah,
the
so
Office of
let's
Independent
talk
Monitor?
about it. It's Helene or Helen? Helen. So you said I guess I just need to make sure I want to answer your question pretty well, because I like to clarify things. So when you say that I am police, do you mind defining that for me?
Every time
Yes.
that you write amendments that take away from the independence of the monitor,
Sure.
we have to spend time on your amendments that limit our independence instead of actually providing vigilance over the police department.
So, okay.
So every
Yep.
time you do that,
Sure.
you nick away at our independence.
Sure. Now let me reply to you. So one, I did not write the amendments, right? No. So I'm answering your questions. I listened to you, correct? The year that I worked on restoring money for Greg Galemick's position, I think I was able to restore $126,000 for maybe a position and something else in the office. I don't know if I was police then or police now, what the difference is, but in short, those amendments were not written by me. The thing that could you just let me finish? When you are in council leadership, whether that's fortunate or unfortunately, you sign up for it, right? I signed up to be common council president. I was elected unanimously to serve as common council president. The thing I did not know before being president is some of the challenges that existed. Not about investigations, not about the office's independence, not about them being able to do their job, like to do investigations and, you know, report on and accept reports and that sort of things. But just things like yesterday, for example, when Maya reached out to the office around, I don't know, maybe 3 o'clock, if you may remember, and she was wanting some help posting an agenda for a meeting that may be tonight or tomorrow night. And when that happened, we have civil service employees in the common council office, right? So Greg, for example, is a civil service employee. So those employees often or also are served by 2 different labor groups, for example. Those labor groups sets all kind of rules, what they can do with overtime, how long they can work, who can do for what, right? So when that happened, I end up having to talk to the chief of staff about it because our chief of staff has a 4 o'clock appointment. So this is happening, she has an appointment. There are 2 other staff, one of the staff doesn't really know how to do this. She's trying to hunt down that 3rd person who might be able to pitch in. It looks like there was also an attempt to reach the clerk's office. We know clerk's office is busy with creating ballots. And so when we had NACO at the Common Council meeting, Tuesday night, one thing that NACO said to us is what we're doing clarifying or restrictive? Now, when I booked NACO to come here, the one thing I wanted to do as someone who loves education is to provide us education. So that would allow us to go back to whatever was drafted prior to us and go back and potentially make edits, because I think I just want to finish. I understand. Nope, I'm trying to answer your question. No, I'm answering your question fully. Yes. Yep. Let me finish. Yes, let me finish. So, in common council, I have to be sometimes brought into things, and I'm not going to go into like the office dynamics. That's not my role to like talk about all that. And I don't think you would want me to do all of that.
I want to answer the question.
I'm answering the question. It's more so, how much do you want me to share open and publicly today? Oh, okay. So if the office of my bad. Let me just say the reason I am continuing to sign on. The reason that I am continue to sign on to the amendment. I just want you got your recording. Make sure I'm clear so I can be heard. Is because I am still being brought into operational challenges. However, the amendments are not final, and because we got the education from NACO, from the law group, I expect revisions. I expect maybe things are going to be pulled. Nope. I literally expect things. I think the thing about the procedural pieces, though, no. But wait.
Not to like take on those pieces, and I mean we can talk about this later, but at the end of the day, no one had to sign on to MGR's amendments. They could have just died.
I'm staff in
Yes.
the Office of the Independent Monitor.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I have worked quite productively at times in the past.
Yes.
The pastor referred to the distinction between words and actions.
Mm-hmm.
One of our core rights under existing amendment is access to MPD databases.
Unfettered.
Unfettered.
And you heard Nicole
Yep.
talk about the importance of direct access.
Yep.
Please explain why you are sponsoring and continue to sponsor
Yep.
an amendment that would eliminate our capacity to have that access and therefore impede
Thank
our
you.
investigations.
Yep, I'm so glad. That is a great question, Greg. The reason that I am still on a sponsor is because there is, Greg knows, if anybody else doesn't know, there is a process for amendments before the Common Council meets to vote on those amendments. Normally, we're working with maybe the city attorney's office, sometimes going back. I know the PCLB may have a meeting coming up where you'll talk about some things, but we're working on it. I expect the unfettered thing to be removed. I expect the thing about the attorney stuff to be removed, because those are things that where we're in conversations, when I'm coming to your meetings, showing up, listening to what you all have to say. And because I'm serving as Common Council president, I'm also thinking like the operating thing. What can I sort of help encourage in order to, so I don't have to be pulled into things, if that makes sense. So while I understand you, the reason that I'm still signed on is because I know it's a work in progress and it's not final.
There
So,
are
yeah.
some reporters. Can we get like the reporters to just so you guys can get out of
If
here
Matt
real
Kenny
quick?
is still on the police force, why are we supposed to trust that this process will end in accountability? Thank you.
I actually have a question for Ms. Sabrina Madison.
Oh, yes.
I want to know, how can we trust you? This is a question of integrity, okay?
Yep, yes,
Now,
I'm ready.
If I were to go through a database of publicly documented records.
Yes. I'm gonna tell you how. This is how you find all of my records.
Okay.
You send an email.
Listen,
Yes.
I wasn't done asking my question.
Oh, you keep going then.
If I go through those publicly documented
Yes.
records, would I find out that your nonprofit received money from the city while you were a sitting alderperson? Would I find that
Yep,
out?
so you'll find in 2021 that our office received funding from the city of Madison for a grant.
Was
Just
your
that we were all funded.
your did your
Yes,
nonprofit
I'm telling it to you.
receive?
Yes.
That's a felony. That's against the law. You shouldn't have done that. Your trust is down the drain.
So we received funding on a grant on, just to clear up for y'all. Oh, no, it's not. You can look it up. Please look it up. This is public record. There's no hiding it. So I just want to make sure I answer. You can look up the Progress Center for Black Women. The year that we got the grant, I was not an alder. And so then, nope, we were not, I was not an alder. And then when I became an alder, I separated myself from it. And the grant ended. The grant ended and it was done. Oh, no, this is public, but let me just tell you how to get my records. You send an email. No, send an email. Send an email to council@cityofmadison.com. There we go. Release it.
So please repeat your question. Please repeat your question.
And let's give black women the space they deserve in the room.
Hey, when anybody
Everybody else gotta let black women have their space.
It's okay. I'm very transparent about
Chief
it.
Patterson, please answer this. You can ask the question again.
If Matt Kenny is still on the police force, how are we supposed to trust that this process is going to end in accountability?
It's exactly why I brought up the historical trauma and incidents that have occurred in the same neighborhood. It's the same reason that I brought it up, and I feel like my job is to do my darndest to make sure that this investigation is independent, that I am not at all influencing that in any way, that I'm not using my position in any way to influence it. I'm not using historical decisions that didn't involve, frankly, anyone in this room. But we have to ensure that this particular investigation has complete autonomy from this police department. We're going to cooperate fully with it. We're not going to influence it. Anything they need, they're going to get from us, period. That's what I can assure you. And I can't say anything up here, as you would suspect, that is going to be able to address something that we have all been talking about, I have been talking about for over a decade. You know that. Yes, I know you've had your hand up, so please, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So, my question is specific to police training, specifically with defense and arrest tactics. Number one, it's kind of a two-part question, all right? So number one, are your officers trained under DAT to use the least amount of force possible to overcome a threat? And if they choose to use deadly force, do they have to evaluate, say, after each shot is fired, whether or not the threat is still there?
There is a standard of a threat of great bodily harm or death that must be articulated to oneself or to someone else. And so that is a standard that DCI will be evaluating when they start. That is a standard we will use when we do our use of force review. You clearly have read from the DAT curriculum.
I have a lot of experience.
That's good. That's good. And so that will happen.
Okay.
That will happen.
Okay.
Can I jump to her? Because she's also had her hand up, and I'll come back to you. Yep, go ahead.
You said that I saw on Facebook that the knife had supposedly punctured the police officer. But then I got a witness who saw the whole thing, who called and said, hey, the knife was found in his pocket once he was shot. Can you clarify this?
I don't know. I don't know. That's up to DCI to articulate and to find out and to investigate. I don't know. I saw a photo of it on the pavement. That's what was shared. I don't know how it was produced. I don't know how it got to the pavement. That's all part of their investigation that they need to figure out.
After he was shot.
The officer was, all 4 officers, including the officer that received the injuries, and the other officer that had injuries, they all were evaluated at a hospital, and they've been released. So, yes.
To clarify, the mayor said that she would request funding for a body camera program. Is that another pilot, or is that
No.
funding for
What
body
I,
cameras?
well, I hope not, but what I requested in.
It's a full program.
Okay.
Do you know approximately the price tag for that and when that could be implemented and just approved?
I don't have the numbers at the top of mind, but it's in the police department's capital budget request, and I assume in their operating budget request as well, which will be public soon. So you could go look at the capital budget request for those numbers. The program that the police proposed was a rollout over multiple years. I believe 3 years, is that right, Chief? Yeah, so there is proposed to roll out over 3 years. There is a capital cost for the equipment. There's also an operating cost for the technical support, and then the records review that is required when you have more video. And people obviously will request that through an open records process, and they need more staff to review that video. So that's the operating cost.
Is there funds for the Office of Independent Monitor and PCOB to be able to institute and recommend policies for the rollout of these body-worn cameras?
So I haven't received the budget request yet from the Office of the Independent Monitor. That will come as part of the operating budget, and we'll review that just like we review from any other agency.
Asking for 1% of the police budget.
I'll review the request just like every other agency comes in, and we review it and we make a decision, and we'll release the executive operating budget. I believe it's in October.
Do you recognize that the
And
civilian police oversight?
we're,
I just want to be respectful as reporters, and you guys are free to ask questions, but let's just try to get
Right.
people who have their own. Patrick, maybe over there?
Yeah, could you tell us a little more about the use of the taser? You mentioned that it failed to work.
It was unsuccessful. I don't.
Did it not go off? Did they
No,
hit
it
the
went
line?
off.
That-
Same street. It went off.
What do you know?
Or what is considered unsuccessful? How do you?
Unsuccessful can mean a number of things. It can mean the probes failed, it can mean there wasn't neuromuscular incapacitation for some reason, it can mean a lot of things. I don't know what happened.
Recognize when somebody is convulsing due to being tased versus when they are considered still
Of course.
not incapacitated?
Yes.
And is there a period of time when officers are supposed to wait to see if the taser is effective before pursuing other measures?
I'm your chief, I am not a use of force expert, but what I can tell you about the taser is when there's successful deployment, there typically is a 5-second time period that is delivered. So let me say this, let me say this. But that we have to be, let me just finish. We have to be careful with that, because if it's not successful, you're not going to see the same results. You're not going to see the same,
But that's also not enough time to see if it was.
you're not going to see this, you're not,
already on the ground.
but we are also trained,
Some level of success in that.
we are also trained to hear what the taser is telling us, and often when there's an unsuccessful deployment, for whatever reason, I don't know, it could be bulky clothes, it could be a probe missed or what have you, you're going to hear something different. It's going to be audible, it's going to be very loud.
A taser a second time prior to discharging a firearm?
In an instance where a weapon of any sort is involved, if less lethal is an option, we're going to try to use that as often as possible, to your point. So this is all going to be reviewed by DCI. I don't know what else to say on that.
Our community is going to mourn someone whose life was lost on Willie Street. You all are members of Madison's community. Will you join us to mourn the life and continue to answer questions that community members clearly have?
Yes, I'll do my best.
Not a uniform, regular community person. Can we do that? Can we
I will talk
address
about
some
it
of the
after,
motions
yes.
here, please? This gentleman.
Yes, sir, yes. I'm sorry, he's had his hand up.
It's very, hopefully very quick. I know you just said you're not a use of force expert, nevertheless. When considering what a reasonable officer would have done in this sort of situation, in terms of whether or not a reasonable officer would have used deadly force as described under DAT. How is that evaluation affected when there's multiple officers involved in the same situation, but only one officer decides to use lethal force in a way that...
I want to be really careful, and I'm not trying to dodge you. But I want to be really careful. I don't want to dodge you. I mean that respectfully, but we all have to remember what I said. You know, me standing here as your police chief, if I steer my comments in a certain direction or I render something that's viewed as an opinion, that can affect the independent investigation. I can't do that. I can't do that, and so for that reason, I'm going to not give you a response that you may want right now. I'm sorry. I just do not want to impact that investigation. No, I appreciate that. George, I'm sorry I haven't gotten to you.
I mean, are you aware of any MPD officer that has been charged or convicted in the past of actions while taking on the force?
George, no, I'm not. Yes, ma'am.
I want to say that we know by statistics that Madison, Wisconsin is one of the most racist states to live in. We're here. We know the black people are here. We know the government is trying to work with all people here in Madison, Wisconsin. We have seen us come so far. Madison has been really, really quiet while the world has been turned upside down. And yesterday, our world is turned upside down by a senseless death. I do believe that, and this is my opinion, that if that was a white person, he probably would not be dead today.
Exactly.
He probably would be in jail today, but he probably would not have been murdered yesterday. So I'm here, can't say how everybody else thinks, but I truly believe that that was a Caucasian person and that they probably would be in your jail, but not somebody's mother mourning in this community mourning. So I just want Madison to be a little aware. And just one more thing, we know that election time is coming up, and this is very, very important. This is super important to you guys, to us, to our children, to our future children.
We ain't gonna vote our way out of this.
Hold on. The way that we make change is that we elect those. No. I'm just talking real, homie. We know that the way we make change is changing laws. And we have to rub elbows with those who are lawmakers and who can really change laws, because we don't want to live like this. We don't want to go back to where our parents used to live. We don't want to, the racism, there's no place for racism in Madison or within the Lord. So that's where I'm going with it. So we need to work.
To George Floyd.
Let's work together.
Laws can help, but they don't prevent. Like my chief
Let me just get to her, please, and, yeah. Go ahead. I'll get to you, Greg, I promise.
Between the man that died and the officer who shot him, were there any previous encounters that you had?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
One
last press
question.
question.
Follow up for the mayor. I know you previously said you supported the past body cam pilot, but you weren't sure about body cameras. City department-wide. What's changed? Why are you body cameras?
My main concern has been the cost, given the very severe limitations that the state puts on our budget. And I think when we initially got the estimates from the pilot, there was a very large price tag. And the chief has worked to bring that price tag down in various ways. And so it's really just about, the state very severely limits our budget, both in terms of what we can raise and what we can spend. I have to present a balanced budget. So I think with it being at a lower price tag, it's doable.
Here's the thing, profit is used as an excuse by bureaucracies all the time. Like, the fact is even if we get a policy for these body cams, what is your department gonna do when they still murder people in cold blood? What is your department gonna, is that gonna be a part?
Body cameras are not a solution. They are part of a solution, but they are not the solution. Yeah.
Can you reassure us that police training will be different and changed in order to prevent this from ever happening again?
I mean, I look.
That's what I mean, they keep saying
No.
that the profit, it's just if to protect a black homeless man from being murdered by our
Ask you rapid fire questions that are yes or no.
I'm going to get back here and look at, I want to get to the press, and I'll stick around as long as you want me to. All right?
I apologize if you already addressed this when I stepped out, but what was the extent of the officer who shot the man? What were the extent of his injuries? Was it a slashing?
We mentioned that before. I don't know. I don't know. I understand he was injured. I don't know what the injuries look like. Or yes.
If that young man, if in fact you guys pushed that paperwork to say we're going to investigate this as a homicide, why is those pigs not in jail? Your department said, hey, this is a homicide. We're gonna push this as a homicide. Why are those people not in jail? Answer that question.
Douglas,
what is the reason
look at
they are not in jail?
Like even if
What is the reason they are not in jail? Mr. Patterson, answer
It's
that
an
for us, please.
Douglas, right?
Yeah, Douglas.
It's an independent investigation that I can't tell them in any
If
aspect
I committed a
what to do.
homicide yesterday, Douglas, Mr. Patterson, I mean, if I committed a homicide yesterday and I walked in here today and there were charges being investigating me for a homicide, where would I be right now, Officer Patterson?
Greg, please go ahead.
A question by the gentleman earlier who was asking about multiple shot proportionality of force. There were recommendations from the MPD Policy Procedure Review Ad Hoc Committee around force that have never been implemented by MPD. Those recommendations actually originated with then Representative Chris Taylor, who's now a Supreme Court Justice. When, if ever, does MPD expect to implement those recommendations around use of force?
No, I appreciate you asking that question, Greg. 3 years ago, we went through a strategic planning process. We attempted to include all of the recommendations from both the OIR group, from the ad hoc committee group, from the Control Center, who also issued recommendations. I understand that there is some feelings that maybe that wasn't done well enough, and maybe they weren't reflected well enough. We are committed to working with your office, committed to working with the PCOB, committed to working with the entire community to bring those recommendations back, review what's been done, review what needs to happen. If there's reasons why they can't happen, I need to respond to that and explain why if that hasn't been done. It will happen.
Like, with it can't happen, there was a lot of law enforcement inputs, like over a period of years. So the can't happen is questionable. I do appreciate
understand,
your
and
willingness to work with us.
I am absolutely willing to do that, Greg.
Mr. Patterson, we know that the police department gets a huge amount of funding. We know that. We know that you work with community leaders, your organization works with community leaders here in Madison. But unfortunately, and not just a murder that happened yesterday, even murders around the city, we know that you guys invest a large amount of money into Let's Talk nonprofits. We know that you invest a lot into churches. We know that you invest a lot into, what do they call them, sororities. We know that all of this funding, we know that a lot of this funding goes towards programs through nonprofits, okay? We know that. What I'm asking here is that open the Verizon. We have other community leaders. We have other folks who work with children. Sit them at the table. Look at their programs. Let's see what's working and what's not working. If we continue to invest our money into what's not working, it is a losing battle
I 100%
all
agree.
the way.
I
So
100% agree.
what I'm requesting is that, let's open up to this community. Let's see what can work. Give it a chance because it's not working. It's not working. It hasn't worked for a very long time.
I'm going to say something.
Because the answer to my question, you guys, is imperialism, which is the absolute, the structure of why this pig will go free. And we have to attack that. Any other questions about funding another nonprofit is us being bamboozled. We better attack imperialism or we will get no results.
Can we actually answer that question, why that officer, just to be clear, did you recommend that the investigation is handled as a homicide, or was that policy?
This is an open homicide investigation,
did
period.
you guys
We
recommend-
asked for the criminal investigation.
Okay,
Yes.
so with that being said, why isn't that gentleman arrested? If this is
Again.
an open homicide investigation.
Again,
Stay on the streets.
No, just say because he was a police officer, he's being protected by imperialism. Imperialism is the policies that protect these people.
Now,
I'm
if
sorry.
that is what it is, then just tell us.
Seriously, because you're hiding behind.
I'm not, look at,
Because I've never seen a civilian
Clyde,
on the
Clyde.
streets on a homicide.
Clyde, I am not hiding behind this. This is our process in front of us that we have to follow by state law. If you don't like process, it's a state law that we then need to all collectively come around. I'm sorry, it is.
Officers have a background in psychology, sociology, or social work, where they're classically trained to recognize somebody.
I absolutely can say with 100% certainty that I know,
Not escalate a situation by yelling or being aggressive or pulling out firearms or attacking.
well, not every police officer has that background.
Do you think it would be important?
Many
for
of us
that
do.
training to take place and be a requirement?
All of us have a level of crisis intervention training. Some officers have far greater levels if they're members of our mental health unit, if they're mental health liaisons, they have elevated. It absolutely is standard, and if we need to expand it, that's, when I promised you action and a review of policy and training and response, that includes everything. It's not just use of force. We will look at everything. We will try to garner as many lessons as we can on this one.
Most of y'all are sexual offenders anyway, so it's like, yeah, let's say it, let's put it out there. And there are plenty of them. So we don't trust y'all, so what we're trying to see is where is this going, what are we gonna have to do to make changes before there be bloodshed on this fucking country more than it already is? Because when people start, don't give a fuck about life, when they really numb the fuck out and they start coming to blow up buildings like this, what the fuck you gonna do then? Please tell me, because it's gonna happen.
And how can we ensure that the PCOB, an independent monitor, is not attacked by the police department? I have sat back and watched the abuse that this individual in their program has endured, and we need to that needs to stop.
Sabrina and the mayor left.
Like I need you as my chief to kill that noise. That needs to stop. Like there needs to be
Clyde.
transparency with the independent monitor. The disrespect to this black woman needs to stop. Like we can't get anywhere where the pettiness is thriving. Like, and I've seen it. And I'm not even sitting at this table or that table. I've watched the videos, but these people are trying to help you guys. And they're not being treated as partners. They're being treated as your opposition. And we need that to stop.
I hope that my history, frankly, that you are somewhat familiar with,
Yes.
carries a little weight. I have tried, and I will continue to try, to do everything I can to collaborate with Aramik, with Greg, with the office, with the PCOB. I think it's important. I believe in community input. I think communities should have a say in what justice looks like in their neighborhood. That includes the PCOB, that includes the OIM, it includes all the other organizations that she was talking about. No, I'm not saying
Are
it.
you willing to hear what she needs to have happen immediately for that relationship to even begin?
I have-
And from Greg, like, can we
I am,
give them to the?
I'm always willing
that?
to meet with them and talk with them, yes.
So I just want to say that folks need time to get over to the visual, and I just want to honor that. We do have families coming out, so I just want to make sure community is over there supporting. Chief and assistant chief has said that they will try to come out. And if you could just take off the shirt, do whatever you got to do. And because you guys have requested that and willing to answer questions. So I just want to make sure everybody has enough time and just wanted to remind community of that.
I got one question. We know that homeless is Willie Street is homelessness. I've dealt with the homeless during COVID up until today. We know that Willie Street is where a lot of homeless people reside. It's just the way it is. That's where they get most of their assistance. Willie Street is a special street. Have your police been trained to deal with not only homelessness, but mental health homelessness homelessness people, because we know that, unfortunately, that they're being harmed at the hands of the police, and a lot of it has to do with having no one, to be there or back them up, but this community. That's all they have, is this community. So, I think that they need to be trained on really how to deal with the mental health and the homelessness, because we know that that's what Willie Street is. That's where they reside.
I'll do you one better. I think we need to end homelessness, especially because
Baby girl,
we built a new prison extension that has more cells than we do have actively homeless people in Madison. Okay? There wouldn't have been a mental health crisis if people just had a fucking home. I was briefly homeless in college for like a week, and it was stressful as fuck. If I were on the street like permanently, I would be like so unwell. It's insane.
They're the most vulnerable. Like,
And let's talk about the police budget. Like,
corridors is not punishable like
Chief,
that.
your officer in a PCOB meeting said that they would not ticket homeless people because of existing on the street. And yet on Willie Street, we are seeing your homeless neighborhood officers ticketing homeless people for
and they're
existing
stealing their
and being
stuff.
homeless.
They keep throwing
Can
away their
you-
stuff.
So I don't know the details, Helen, I don't know the details of that, but we're committed to doing a restorative discussion with the SJC. I don't know the details. So I can't comment on specific
But can you
instances.
direct your officers to not ticket homeless people for being homeless?
We are trying
How
to,
can we confirm that this call that you guys got about this individual is legit? Because I do not want to hear that there was never a call.
Did you
And
guys
this
receive-
description was
yeah,
never
did
the
you guys-
person that they needed.
That-
It sounds like the poor is being policed extremely too harsh.
Always.
there, to my knowledge, there was a call. We would not have responded if there was not a call. DCI,
Will we be
Clyde,
able to see in that call that the description fit Corey? Because that is a big part of where I am at right now. Because if this individual is dead and a call did not recognize
so what they need to
him,
do is not only look at that call that I've referenced, but look at the other calls where there was similar description and see if this is in fact the same individual. That's all part of their investigation, and that will all be hopefully included in their report.
Chief, you mentioned the other day at the press conference that as far as you know, the officer was a veteran officer. Could you give a little bit more details on how long they've been on the force, whether or not they had a supervisory role, and also whether or not there's any complaint or disciplinary history that you're aware of?
I don't have that information. He is a veteran officer, multiple years. I don't know exactly his tenure. Not a supervisor is what I can tell you. So, 11,
He's not
thank
a
you.
supervisor. He's not a sergeant or anything, he's an officer. All right.
Correct.
so
All
we
right.
should have knew better.
I just want to remind folks, we did bring water in here. I don't know about you, I'm getting really hot standing here, and all right. So can I do one more question? I'm sorry, I want to also give myself time to find some clothes. Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
just I want to clarify a couple facts of what's going on so that I'm not telling people the wrong thing when I'm asked. So just a few yes or no questions. So, and I am glad to hear that it's being treated as a homicide investigation. That gives me hope. Preceding the murder, was there any property that was damaged or stolen?
That I don't know.